Please make welcome Jeff Little and the Jeff Little Trio.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that very much. Well, we do have the great blessing of getting around, travel, and play music, so we'd like to talk about where we're from. And I'm originally from Boone, North Carolina, right across the mountain over there. And a lot of folks know where that is. And had the great blessing of playing music with Doc Watson most of my life. And so we're going to do a song right here I used to do with Doc quite a bit. Spring, one sunny day, yeah, my sweetheart left me. Oh, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. She called me up down in El Paso. She said, "I'll come back, Daddy. Oh, I need you so." Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. I'll pick a Steve. Don't like the peaches, well, don't you shake that tree. Yeah, get out of that orchard, honey, let the peaches be. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. Let's play some blues now. Down at the station, headed down to the yard. I'm gonna catch me a freight train. I've been working too hard. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, and I don't worry. I'm sitting on top of the world. Thank y'all. Well, being from Boone over there, played with a lot of guitar players and fiddlers and that sort of thing, so I'd like to do a little fiddle song for you here. And this is kind of like the most famous fiddle song that you hear all the time. It's one called the Orange Blossom Special. So we're going to try that for you here on the piano, and I hope it turns out good. I always like to say those are just my Ray Charles licks to get a little warmed up. That's all. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. Makes it sound like something important's coming up, doesn't it? Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all liking that old Floyd Kramer song there. And well, everywhere we go, we had an interesting thing happen at a festival about a year and a half ago now, maybe 2 years ago, but they brought us on some golf carts to get us to our stage, and they took me and Josh in a cart, and Steve was supposed to be right behind us, but he didn't come, and he barely made it in time for the show. And come to find out, there was a ZZ Top tribute band on another stage, and that's actually a true story, actually. But we figured it out after a little bit, so we're going to do an old little gospel tune right here. If y'all know a little bit of this, please help us sing. Well, now, John, oh, John, what would you say? Walking in Jerusalem just like John, I'll meet you there on Judgment Day. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Y'all help us now. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready, Lord. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Well, now some come crippled and some come lame. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. And some come walking in Jesus' name. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready, Lord. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. I'll pick one, Steve. Get to heaven before I do. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Well, tell my friends I'm a coming too. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready, Lord. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready, Lord. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. Thank y'all so much. Well, it's great to be playing here at Northeast State, and more importantly, working here at Northeast State. And it's been great to be in the Tri-Cities. I've really enjoyed meeting a lot of folks, but we still go around and play music. So if there's anybody here that would ever want to, maybe if you know of somebody with a performing arts theater or a festival, we do a lot of festivals, or maybe someplace like that, and say, well, would they like for us to come play there or something? We say, well, sure, we would. Just give us a call, and we're not near as expensive as we look. So just let us know. I don't know why they find that so funny, Steve. But anyhow, I would like to feature Steve on a song right here. You've already heard some of his playing, and this is an old flat picking song that just is a lot of guitarists that do a lot of flat picking play this, but I don't think anybody does it quite like Steve. Here's an old tune called Nothing to It. Steve Lewis on acoustic guitar, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, we'd like to feature Josh to sing one for you right here. And what's kind of fun is I do all sorts of music on the piano. We're going to do a bluegrass song here for you. And this is actually an old Stanley Brothers song. And I'm sure when y'all were driving over here tonight that you were just thinking to yourself, boy, I'd sure like to hear some Stanley Brothers on the piano. Well, here you go. Steve played so good on that song, he knocked it out of tune, I think, Josh. So, this is one of my favorite Stanley Brothers tunes.
I'd rather be in some dark hollow where the sun don't ever shine than to be all alone, just knowing that you're gone. It would cause me to lose my mind. So blow your whistle, freight train, carry me farther on down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going and I ain't coming back. I'd rather be in some dark hollow where the sun don't ever shine than to be in some big city in a small room with you on my mind. So blow your whistle, freight train, carry me farther on down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going and I ain't coming back. So blow your whistle, freight train, carry me farther on down the track. I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going and I ain't coming back. Well, I'm going away, I'm leaving today. I'm going and I ain't coming back.
Mr. Josh Scott.
Thank you.
That sounded good, Josh. Well, as I mentioned earlier, wherever we travel, we always like to talk about where we're from, which is the mountains of North Carolina, you know, and some of my family's from southwestern Virginia, a little place called Grassy Creek, which is outside of Independence. Now, does anybody know where that is? I don't know if anybody knows. Well, that's good. So, I like to tell people kind of how it was around this area. And I know that when I was growing up, my grandparents used to do a lot of canning. And y'all know what I mean. Everybody had a garden, and everybody did a lot of canning, you know, the pressure cooker and ball jars. I mean, you'd go in my grandmother's basement, there was probably green beans to last 5 or 6 years. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, there was plenty of stuff in there all the time, which brings me to my little story here. It seems like I heard this story, I think maybe from my grandparents, but it came a terrible snow back in 1960. It snowed in this area for like 5 or 6 weeks straight. And it just kept snowing, and it really got bad to where they couldn't feed livestock and couldn't get things going on. And come to find out, there was some elderly lady that lived up on top of the mountain that nobody had heard from for like 2 or 3 weeks. So they got very concerned about her, so they thought they better fly in the American Red Cross. So they flew in this helicopter, and they were able to land maybe about, I don't know, maybe a mile from her house. So it took a couple of hours to get over to her house once they walked over there. They had to shovel the snow off the old porch to get the screen door open, and they finally did that, and then they knocked on the door, and nobody came, and they knocked on the door again. Finally, she came to the door, and they said, "Ma'am, we're from the American Red Cross." And she said, "Well, I'm sorry, honey, I just can't give anything this year. It's been a pretty bad winter." Thank you, Steve. I think that's actually a true story, actually. Before we get Steve to get on the banjo in a second, we're going to do an old-time fiddle tune. These are the kinds that were played at dances and things like this. And this is an old-time fiddle tune called Whiskey Before Breakfast.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Well, let's get the, while Steve's getting the banjo out there, I'd like to do a song right here. My folks had a music store over in Boone when I was growing up, and they also sold albums. Y'all remember those big round flat things, you know, used to play music on and that sort of thing. But one of the records that was in that store, it had this really cool piano riff, and it sounded something like this. And it was on an old Dave Brubeck record. And I thought that was just really cool because it was in this really kind of strange time signature, like 5/4. So I said, I'm just going to have to learn that. So I spent some time and kind of figured that out. And then I heard the melody come in, and wouldn't you know it was a saxophone player. And heaven knows me and Josh and Steve can't afford to carry around a saxophone player for just one song. So I was thinking to myself, I'm just going to have to learn both parts at the same time. Thank you. Now, I always like to say, this doesn't always go that great. But y'all seem like a nice bunch, so here goes. Thank you. I'll take it. Thank y'all. Well, Steve's got the 5-string out there, and we were thinking about this the other day. We were going somewhere, and I looked up at Steve, and I said, you know what? I think we need to research something, but I'm pretty sure that we can claim this, that we think we're the only band in the world that goes from Dave Brubeck to Earl Scruggs. And we're pretty confident in that, actually. So what we're going to do for you now is just go from some Dave Brubeck, and if we're going to get the banjo out with the 2-time national champion, I think we ought to just start with Foggy Mountain Breakdown. So I hope y'all enjoy it. Go something like this.
I'm just glad this is not in 5/4.
Amen, brother. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Well, we got time for a couple more songs during this set, and then we're going to have a short intermission, and then we'll come back and play another short set. We just like to let everybody know when halftime is and all that sort of thing. And we try not to make our sets too long because I've done this for a long time, and one thing I really like to do is I like to stop playing before people start leaving. Makes us feel a lot better about ourselves. So we'll do a couple more songs this set, and then we'll have a short 10 or 15-minute intermission and come back and do another little set for y'all. And we're having a great time tonight. I would like to mention a little bit more about the program here at Northeast State. I'm very excited to be here. I was chair of a program at Guilford Tech in North Carolina for 10 years. Prior to that, I'd always worked in the music industry as a musician. Grew up playing with Doc, and then lived in Nashville many years and worked with several great country artists like John Michael as a tour manager and road manager. And then I worked with Keith Urban, and then I found out Josh and Steve was available, and I jumped at the chance, and here we are. So, but nevertheless,
hey, I mean,
I've been in education for 10 years now, and what we've found is this kind of program that really teaches students the real-world applications of audio, recording, lighting, like you're seeing tonight that Travis is doing such a great job of. What's great about it and why it works so well for a community college is it truly sets up for jobs, and that's what I think a lot of people are surprised about. There's a lot of jobs because it's not just music. It's not just music tours. It's festivals. It's theaters like this, but it's also events companies. Everywhere there's an event, there's audio and lighting. Also, another growth for job market is church production. So we have a lot of students that come here and that will be coming to this program that came to my previous program. This is truly what they want to do for a living. So I'm just so excited to be here and being from this region and appreciating the history of the music here. I think it's great that this program is at the birthplace of country music in Bristol. So we're glad to be here, and we appreciate it very much, y'all. So that being said, later on when we get the associate degrees and stuff going, I'll probably teach a class in songwriting, so I guess I better do one original song. I guess we better do that, Steve. And this is a little instrumental I wrote several years ago, and I mentioned a community earlier. After writing this music, I just felt like this was a fitting title for this song. This is on the new CD, which is called Made in the Blue Ridge. This is a little original tune called Grassy Creek. Cool. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate y'all liking that tune. And we'd like to do one more before we do take a short intermission. It'll just be 10 or 15 minutes, so come right back on in. And we do have CDs for sale in the lobby. My wife Sharon's out there tonight with my son Luke, and I'm glad to have them with me tonight. And my daughter Savannah is actually at the middle school cheerleading camp. Y'all know how that goes. So she couldn't be here tonight, but I'm glad they're here. I got to tell this. I'm going to dedicate this next song to Sharon real quick, and but after this we'll be right back, and we've got a lot of cool surprises here in the next set. So I hope y'all will come right back with us. But Sharon's here tonight, and when I met Sharon, she's from Lubbock, Texas, out there in the West Texas. How'd that ever happen? You know where we met? This is the truth. We met in a Walmart parking lot. Thank y'all. I think that's a country song right there. Anyhow, but that's really the truth. But anyhow, once we met and we decided we were going to get married, and she went back to Lubbock, and you know, I think it's always a parent's dream for their daughter to come home and say, "Guess what? I'm marrying a musician from Nashville." You know, that's right. Yeah, thank you very much. That's right up there with all that sort of thing. So that's where I was living at the time, and so I said, well, you know what? I've got to impress my future in-laws. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the studio and record my own wedding music. So they'll be impressed when they drive all the way to Lubbock to see us get married. So the church was all set and everything. And I went in and recorded all this music, and I recorded all this beautiful music while the bridesmaids were coming down the aisle, and I was waiting up at the front of the church, and then it came time for Sharon's dad to walk her up the aisle, so they put the CD in, and Sharon comes down the aisle. And right when her and her dad get up the aisle, it sounded something like this. That's the same reaction the church had except for her father. But it's worked out good. It's been almost 20 years, so it's been pretty good. So, but anyhow, we'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to end up with another Earl Scruggs tune, which is also on the new record. This is one called Ground Speed. Thank y'all for coming to hear us tonight, y'all. Thank y'all. We'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. We are glad to be back for our second set tonight, and just to appreciate y'all coming out to listen to us play. And we love these shows because we know everybody's getting their money's worth. So. I don't know if that's good or bad, Steve. I don't know what to think about that.
I have no idea.
We'd like to start this set out with an old swing tune right here that we started playing maybe about a year ago that we enjoyed playing. Hope y'all like it. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate that. Steve, how about tuning that guitar down? Let's do a little Angeline the Baker. I like this song an awful lot. As you've already heard, Steve's a great guitar player, and I wanted to mention too, Steve's also involved in education as well. He not only has about 40 private students that take guitar and banjo lessons, he teaches music classes in the guitar and the banjo and all sort of that thing at Ashe County High School in West Jefferson, North Carolina. So I think that's pretty cool. That's what he does in his off time. And but anyhow, he's going to do an old traditional tune here and do a little, this is called cross pick, and you'll notice the flat pick going back and forth between the strings, and I love to hear Steve do this song. This is one called Angeline the Baker.
Thank you.
I'd like to feature Josh on singing another song here for you, and I would like to let everybody know I do have a website if you'd like to know where we're playing. It's jefflittle.net, and if you'd like to send an email there, my people will email you back. Of course, I am my people. We're a pretty big outfit, and the other day we even got a Facebook page started. You can get to that from the website, and I said, I don't have a Facebook page. So Sharon's taking care of that for me, and I said, well, what's a Facebook page? And she said, well, people can go on there and like the site and see what y'all doing, see where y'all are playing. I said, well, as long as there's not a dislike button on there, you can set one up. So anyhow, I guess we got one of those going too now, Steve. So anyhow, but this is a great old tune that of all the tunes I used to do some with Doc and stuff, this is one of my favorite ones to hear him do. This is an old tune called the Greenville Trestle.
Go by, and the whistle's lonesome sound you could hear for miles around as it rolled across that Greenville trestle line. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land mean no work for a railroad man. And the Greenville trestle now don't seem to lie. riverbank I'd stand with a cane pole in my hand. I'd watch the trains up against the sky, with the black smoke trailing back as they moved along the track. Rolled across that Greenville trestle high. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately not many trains go by. Hard times across the land mean no work for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. Lonesome whistle whined, I'd get rambling on my mind. Lord, I wish they still sounded that way. And I turned to head for home, Lord, she'd rumble low and long past the sunset at the close of day. But the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately not many trains go by. Hard times across the land mean no work for a railroad man, and the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. And the Greenville trestle now don't seem so high. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. We've had a wonderful time this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.